so welcome back. We're going to implement in this video variables and loops, and meanwhile we will deal with curly braces in the process of that, but that's sort of a side effect. I'm just going to look at my reference here. We are going to change our original source code and make that into something a little bit more complex that actually implements some variable assignment, and then it implements a loop from A to B, so from 12 to 20, and then it implements a loop also from 12 to 20 but with an iterator. So the iterator is basically a variable that catches the index of the range that we define. So our range is from A to B, so from 12 to 20. So it will be 8 steps, and I will count from 0 to 7. And that's a very good way to look at for loops, because in the normal way where you write it like this, for instance, it's a lot more difficult to grasp sort of what is going on. When from A to B as I, it very clearly spells out what you mean. We need to do some work on our lexer. And while we are writing out the class entirely, let's just go over a couple of concepts real quick. First of all, we need to add some states to our state machine, and so that we can catch new things coming in. And we also define a new state machine that is handle state. It's kind of like a quick and dirty way of getting around the fact that a normal state machine really goes from state to state, and then you check it for from which state to which state it is changing. In my case, I just sort of keep collecting state while it read, and then write my state consequences when the state handle state goes to right. For the rest, it's actually just quite simple. We are really basically just converting our input to a list of tokens. And now that we have a more complex source code, we have to do a lot more parsing of that code, and do a lot more state switching. And really do not get married to this kind of code, because this will most likely be obsolete in the next video, because I write a lot of code just to throw it away, to get concepts out quick, and you write something working and then you write something clean. Is my philosophy, at least, and yours could be different. After the lexer, we have to continue with our parser and do a lot of the same stuff. We actually are going to add a couple of states here as well, and then we import handle state as well from the boo lexer, because we're just going to reuse it. And really the only thing we're doing is we are just going to rewrite it to be a little bit more in line with what we're doing in the lexer at the moment. And also we are going to do some add node and functions for that. So basically here in the handle assign, we really look at when the state is to assign. We do a lot of like really dirty logic here, just to make sure that we are actually adding stuff to the AST correctly. We are doing the same thing in handle range, in handle operate. We're just doing the same thing, really just for our specific example, parse this code into something that we can execute. Again, do not get married to this code because it will change. We're just really getting our step-by-step case sort of working. The boo parser state does very much the same thing as what the lexer did, just switches states to discover new things about our lexemes that have come in. Now the only other thing we really need to do is to go into boo eval, into the evaluator, and just make a couple of fixes here. Now that we are parsing the plus symbol to add already in the parser, we no longer have to do that in boo eval, but we do need to add a couple of methods here to make things work. Now obviously there are some bugs that we need to take care of. I mean, I really advise you to just go look at the source code on GitHub, because that'll be a lot easier to follow at your own pace and look at something that is actually committed and working.